Obviously, we're going to talk about some memorable times from throughout the 18 years, but let's go back to kind of the club's start, the birth of Fabric, the sort of ethos behind it and how it almost came into being.
Well, I first visited it when it was called the Cold Store. It was a fridge for Smithfield's meat market.
Yeah.
So when I visited it, it stunk of ammonia and it was it felt like a Victorian sewer almost. I mean, you had to go down in a ladder, and we were trying to define the way it was actually going to be structured in terms of the rooms, and a lot of those decisions were made on structure, so that the actual physical design of it was defined by what could be done.
I mean, it's amazing when you think about that now, because what's lovely about that club is the fact that it's sort of the kind of rabbit warren effect in the way the rooms just sort of, they kind of mushroom out of each other, and you suddenly find yourself in a space, and you've got those little different spaces.
I think one of the successes of it is it lacks decoration, and it's in terms of the brickwork, which is lovely in there. That's how I saw it when it was a building site or pre-building site.
All the work goes into the sound system. It's just like that's what's updated all the time. That's what's given the love and the sort of nurture. But the walls and the rest of the club are allowed to just sort of be. Yeah. When I'm in there, I feel like all this musical energy. That's what kind of helps with the vibe.
The history is there.
The history is in there.
Well, Craig, as resident DJ from the start, how has the musical ethos changed through the years? Or how was I guess what was the thinking about it in the beginning?
The ethos really was that a lot of underground music at the time, in the late 90s, was being represented really badly. So you'd go to sort of underground parties and the sound system would be pretty diabolical. The vibe was good, and it was definitely an underground party. It wasn't a nightclub. So our main aim was to really give a better platform and a greater sound to music that needed it. Yeah. So sort of minimal techno, simple sort of basic channel stuff played on a shit sound system. It can sound pretty terrible, and so with a really amazing sound system, it suddenly became believable. So initially that was our aim, but that was also our success, in that by presenting it properly, it became something that people could really, really understand and be a part of.
Yeah, it's really hard to sort of imagine now, like 17 years ago, it was such a different landscape. It was a different scene. It was lots of superstar DJs. It was like Home was like championing Paul Oakenfold, and it kind of opened around a similar time. Like they opened in September and Fabric opened in October, and there's such sort of contrasting like campaigns. Like Home was very much about the time, and it's like big club, big advertising campaign, big DJs, big fees, big prices, supersize everything. That's what it was like at that time. But there's an anti to all of that. You would go to these small club nights like Giles Pearson was doing, and then Fabric came along, and it was just like, when they announced who their residents were, half people didn't even know who those people were. They didn't know who Craig and Terry were so much. And it was just like, really? Like, that's going to be the residents? And like, all the people that I was going to see that were like literally playing in the back room of somewhere like the Ministry or a big club, they were given the big platform at Fabric, and that's where Fabric sort of came in.
Well, we're going to sort of musically take you through Fabric from Green Velvet. So, memories of that track particularly, why did we choose that to kick off with?
Green Velvet was has always been a favourite. I think I first saw him at the end when he was he used to cover his head in green bits of plastic, and the live show was incredible, and I think there are a few live shows that stand out from Fabric. And he was just demented, and the music was that's demented. No, demented is the right word. And very, very, very powerful. And this is someone who could perform live. It wasn't a guy with a laptop. It was a guy. It was a show. Band, so people like him, Anthony Rother. It wasn't a pre-recorded thing where they were just jigging around in front of it. But he made a massive impression on me at Fabric, and I just think he's one of the most important people within what we do.
Yeah, and still continues to be. And the near list, hots for you?
These are slower moments. I mean, because of my residency, I've had the chance to play different things, either from the beginning when there's no one in there, or the end when it's a bit more kooky and you can go in different directions. I mean, it's really difficult to represent the music over such a long period of time. It's less clubby, it's not techno, and it's got a vocal in it, which I don't often play records with vocals.
Let's showcase that. Let's have that.